Joining me today to discuss cybersecurity is Eddie Habibi, founder and CEO of PAS. Welcome, Eddie.
Thank you, Sid. Glad to be here.
As you know, cybersecurity's got lots of aspects to it. There's lots of solutions, lots of players, people doing different things. To frame this discussion, can you kind of discuss where PAS fits into the mold?
Of course. PAS focuses on the industrial sector, cybersecurity for the industrial control systems that ensure safety and productivity of these process plants. And our focus is on making sure that you have an accurate inventory of the systems, that you understand the vulnerabilities and risks that threaten these systems, a way to recover from an inadvertent shutdown, as well as managing change in these control systems, all very, very critical, essential to a robust industrial control system.
Well, one thing I've been seeing is the interest in cybersecurity is increasing tremendously. And I'm very happy to see that, obviously. That's my business. Can you tell me if you're seeing the same kind of thing and how that might be affecting your business?
Absolutely. All you have to do is walk through the conference and at least half of the companies presenting are providing cybersecurity solutions for the industrial sector, and that's in addition to the traditional control system providers who are also focusing on cybersecurity. Aside from that, we look to our clients, our customers, to see what their concerns are, and we are seeing at all levels, starting with the board of directors, who look at their business in this day and age as it relates to cybersecurity and how it affects their business. They see that an attack, a successful attack on their facilities can first and foremost have safety implications. It can also have financial implications because you have a shutdown, you're not producing, but above and beyond that, the brand name can be hurt, as well as many other aspects such as raising finance, getting insurance becomes impacted. So the cost can be varied. So to that end, what we are seeing from board of directors is directives that have created this new role of CISO for the control systems, and that crosses IT and OT. And they have become more and more aware of the needs of the operations technology. As CISOs, when they team up with the automation managers and engineers, they get things moving forward.
I know you've been doing this for quite a while. I mean, I know not only the cybersecurity, but the other aspects of your business that you've used to leverage into cybersecurity. Do you have any new products or solutions that you're just coming out with, or new things? I'm very interested in learning, obviously.
Sure, of course. I'm glad you asked that question. I was wondering when that was going to come. Yes, we just had a release of our cyber integrity software that's been in play for almost 20 years and been replatformed. And the latest release has something we call configuration baseline. Configuration baseline gives you the golden standard of the configuration of your system, and it is the starting point, the platform for identifying changes and malware. As you know, malware in the ICS, in the industrial control systems, is very, very difficult to catch and find, and we are able to do that. Our breach detection capability through configuration management is just absolutely incredible.
There's been a lot of, recently we've seen these denial of service attacks, distributed denial of service attacks from the IoT devices. And as we both know, IoT is a growing thing in the automation industry. So in light of that, do you see any changes that are needed in cybersecurity, or what your products are doing, or things like that?
An excellent question. The answer is yes, endpoint protection. And when we talk about endpoint protection, we have a different definition of an endpoint from the traditional enterprise IT. In the traditional enterprise IT, the endpoint is the database, it's the information, it's the credit card number. In our world, it is not digital information. The endpoint is the connection, the end point, if you will, to repeat a word, where digital meets mechanical, where digital signals move a valve, start a pump, and molecules begin moving. And the risks associated with that go significantly high. So protecting the endpoint with proliferation of industrial Internet of Things becomes extremely important, again, as it relates to safety, production capability, reliability of the plant, and more.
As we both know, the Ukrainian power attacks, I don't want to pick on the Ukraine, but do you think that portends, is something that's changed the nature of the game, or should companies be more worried? Do you think that portends similar types of attacks on plants? I mean, because this was really a very cyber espionage, or cyber warfare almost. But
it's alleged that it was cyber espionage. It was nation states, that a particular nation state that had a hand in this. It would be hyperbole to say what the magnitude of the threat is, and I think the media needs to be careful when it comes to how they report this information, because you could end up with a cry wolf syndrome where people don't take the threats seriously. But in our view, and this is what I personally believe, the next major world war is going to be around cybersecurity. In fact, we've coined the phrase that cyber is the new weapons of mass destruction. You can do so much damage by manipulating control valves and pumps and compressors and grid lines, power grid lines and power generation plants than you could ever do before. So it is a serious threat. And I have to believe that nation states are investing in that field as both offensive as well as defensive.
when you look, given that and given the other things we discussed, when you look at the solution landscape today for cybersecurity, what do you see that's missing, if anything?
What we see is, first of all, I should tell you about my background. As you mentioned earlier, we have been, as well as our company's background, we have been in the field of process automation since the advent of the company. We started the company in 1993, and we have been helping our customers manage the integrity of their automation systems, both from a data integrity standpoint to reliability, backup, and recovery. What we are seeing is an emergence of new technologies, all of them required, to protect the outer layers of the control systems. These are finding their ways into the cybersecurity, ICS cybersecurity arena in the form of firewalls and antivirus software. The latest trend is where there were a number of companies here presenting their solutions around deep packet inspection for anomaly detection. Very much necessary. We believe those solutions complement ours. What is needed, and what I believe is unique about our company, is the ability to understand the deep inventory of your control system. We believe if you can't see it, you can't manage it, you can't secure it. To that end, understanding a deep inventory of your control system at the I/O level, at the control level, and at the process control level is very critical. That's one of the areas. The other is being able to assess against vulnerabilities and have remediation plans to recover. Change management is the foundation of what I call all good and the root of all evil. Change is progress, but change can also be a disaster. So having good control over the changes that take place in your control system is critical. And finally, operators of these processing plants, power plants, must recognize there will be a time when they get hit, whether inadvertent human error or whether it is a cyber attack. They have to be prepared, and that's when you need a recovery plan. And that's one of the other areas that we provide.
Okay, just one final question. As you're looking forward in 2017 and the future, what do you see as the tailwinds and the headwinds for cybersecurity business here?
Tailwinds is inertia. it is one of those things that only the end users, board of directors, corporate cybersecurity people can address. That is, they recognize there are issues, and there are so many things to do around the control system security. So we see our customers tell us that budgeting doesn't seem to be an issue, that the board recognizes this is a very critical area and they're appropriating measures for that. Recognizing what to do and in what order is very critical. And in our view, understanding what you have in terms of an inventory of the assets that you have is extremely critical. Tailwinds, we believe that we will see, if not this year, in the next 18 months, government oversight increasing, specifically in the area of Securities and Exchange Commission requiring corporations to report cybersecurity breaches because it impacts shareholder value. We believe that there will be more focus in developing the next generation of cybersecurity experts. So you have a gap right now, a gap of cybersecurity experts. We will continue to see attacks in the form of ransomware. It's a cheap way for the bad actors to make a buck. It's a reality. So those are some of the headwinds and tailwinds for the industry.
Well, thank you, Eddie. It's been a very interesting discussion.
Thank you, Sid. It's been a pleasure of mine as well. Thank you.
We've been speaking with Eddie Habibi of PAS, he's the CEO there, about cybersecurity today. Thank you for watching.